I love a movie set in the 90s. This one had a very late 90s, early 2000s feel. So like in the movie, the literal movie is supposed to take place in the 90s. It's still so funny to me that the 90s is like, a period piece at this point. But just the feel of it, the way that it's shot, the way it looks and feels to me, feels like movies that were made in that time, like the late 90s, early 2000s. And then we've got like a sci-fi found footage creature movie with a little Donnie Darko with the self-help like section of it, the sounds, the visual, Twilight Zone with a little bit of Twin Peaks fever dream and some Shining mixed in. Now I have some spoiler thoughts. Also, I think in addition to the aforementioned themes, my cat has something to say too. There's also a little bit of, we watched the last season of Stranger Things earlier this year, so it's kind of on the brain, but with the people in the white coats from the beginning and that you see throughout, it kind of gives a little bit of a Stranger Things feel, because when you see them, you don't know if they've set this whole thing up and they're conducting some kind of experiment, or if they are studying whatever's going on and they don't know, and they're just trying to figure it out too. And I do feel like when they were exploring the backrooms, the liminal space, for a little bit there, I feel like it drug on, but not too long before you actually started to see what was back there. But then by the time they started revealing everything, it just went nuts. I felt like they were simultaneously giving us everything and nothing at the same time. Movies like this, especially in the beginning, and when they're like with this one, the fact that you know nothing about this place that you found, you just know there's this spot in the wall that you can get to these mazes of endless rooms. I was stressed. I was like, I wonder the majority of people, what would you do if you found that? Like for me, I'd be like, but I wouldn't want to stay back there long. Oh my God. Speaking of the Twilight Zone, this reminds me of the episode of Twilight Zone where, I don't remember the name of it, but there was one episode where there was a portal underneath the parents' bed, I believe, and I think one of their kids went missing. So it's like, if it's a portal, how do you know how long it's open? How do you know where it came from? What if it closes? What if it closes while you're going through and, you get halved? So I'm one of those people that if I was in the movie, there wouldn't be a movie, because I'd be like, nah. No, thank you. And on top of that, the guy who finds the portal is always drunk. So it's like, but he was an architect. So I guess that's meant to explain why, because like he drew out everything he explored. I'm like, I don't know. I would not be able to find my way back. I would definitely not be able to map out that place. And I think the most interesting part about this movie were the slightly wrong people. Because apparently, if you've ever been in there gets left behind a copy of you. So then it's like, did those people also make it out? Because when the main character is showing his psychiatrist these people, he's like saying they don't feel any pain. He sticks a knife in one of their necks, cuts his guts open, and says you can eat him. Because like, wait, what is he made out of? It look like rice or something? Some kind of like porridge or grits, some gelatinous material. And then while they're doing this, they're still. But then they move sometimes. Like there's a guy in a wheelchair where he like turns the light on and off. And then there's a woman whose face looks like it glitched. And so there's like, it looks like her eyes are kind of like going down her face, like as if you were like, I don't know, her eyes were glitching on the way down. You know that effect? And she's standing still, but then like you see her running sometimes and screaming. And it's like, are they alive? I just have so many questions. That was probably the most interesting part to me. A big theme of the movie was people and their problems and how you go around in circles and make the same choices over and over again. And it seems like this place is manifested by that, because the main guy, Clark, I think was his name, when his psychiatrist finds him, he's like, I don't want to change. I think I like it here, in this Backrooms place where you just go around and around in circles. And then when Clark goes crazy and becomes part of the Backrooms, I was sad. I was like, I was rooting for him. He seemed like such a sympathetic, likable guy, just down on his luck, separated from his wife. And so do the Backrooms make him crazy? And then when the monster is revealed to have Clark's face, I wonder, well, what did the monster look like when Clark found him? Why does it have Clark's face? And then, is it going to have somebody else's face? I don't know. I was just confused about why the monster had Clark's face. But the wrong people and where these portals are popping up, the why, the where, all of that, I'm definitely interested in seeing sequels. The creator already talked about wanting to do sequels, and the ending, one of the complaints that people had was that the ending seemed chaotic or rushed. And I'm okay with that if it's setting up questions for other movies to be able to answer. And after I get done seeing a movie, I always look online to see what other people are talking about. And some of the things that I found that people were saying were that they felt like the movie was clunky and they explained too much and they didn't want to see the monster, and they thought that they should have left more up to mystery. And for me, for the fact that they're building a universe and there's going to be more to it, I want the explanation, because I'm somebody, when I watch something, I always have questions. And, for people saying they didn't want to see the monster, I want to see all of it. I want everything explained. I want to know everything. So I was not mad about that. And honestly, I'm just excited for this period of time where people are really enjoying horror and bringing original movies. And with, apparently, this was a historical month for horror, particularly with Obsession and Backrooms having so much success within the same amount of time, or the same time period. And people are kind of like, why is that, And I'm seeing articles talking about how Gen Z is going to the movies more, but they're more picky about the kind of movies they go see. They don't want to go see these big blockbuster movies and these franchise movies, and they want to see things like this that are original ideas. And I don't know, I feel like sometimes there's just a right place, right time type of thing. Because if I look at Obsession and I look at Backrooms, they're familiar formulas. Maybe they haven't been used in a while, and we have a new generation coming up and they think that they're, they have some of these ideas first. But the things that I like most about these two movies, and that I look for and I appreciate about anything that I watch, because I'm such a nostalgia junkie, I appreciate when people borrow from the past in a good way, and they don't rip it off necessarily. They have their own idea, and they use movies and stories past as inspiration for original work. I really like that. So while I don't think that either one of these movies is groundbreaking, there's nothing super new about them. It's just building on older themes that have been around and done before and done well, and doing it in their own way. And I think that's good. So I'm excited to see more. Let's see what other horror comes out. And I preach and preach and preach about this, and I feel like I will always take an opportunity to mention, if you never saw Night House, it's still, I would say it's like psychological horror. It's still the best newer horror movie that I've seen in a long time. Like the best one in modern times that I may have ever seen. So that'll do it. And I'm just getting settled in to the new place. It is chaos, but you know what? I always try and find some calm in the chaos, like momentarily, to go and see these movies because it's a lot of fun, and I will always make time for new horror.